broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Ah, yes. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Another AfterBuzz TV After Show for the final one for the much acclaimed and highly esteemed Downton Abbey series finale. I'm John Comerford, joined in the studio by Tamara Berg.
Hi, everybody.
And Courtney Stewart.
Hello.
Very sad, I guess. But, okay, yeah, sad because the series is over, but what do we think? I mean, this was a great finale.
I love Courtney's assessment of just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, okay,
What
go
happens
ahead.
to everybody, Courtney?
Everybody gets a love. Everybody gets a love. You get a love. You get a love.
and
You get a love.
Yes, very nice. Are you showing them your notes?
Yeah, this is my last page of notes.
Yeah.
I just stopped writing, and it was
For those
just
of you-
happiness and stars
Yeah,
all
just
over the
hearts and stars and a big old happy face all over the page.
I had a pile of Kleenexes,
That's
probably
true, yeah.
10 high. And I cried more the second time than I did the first time.
So you said, oh yeah, okay.
I did.
Yeah.
For anybody who has access to it, take a look at the BAFTA special that they
Yeah,
did for
or
Downton
BAFTA.
Abbey. Or BAFTA.
Yeah.
It's so sweet, and I only got to watch the first few minutes of it because
Right.
it's been a whirland for all of us the last few
obviously,
days.
yeah.
I've just been traveling from
And thanks
crazy
for your patience,
places.
people.
Yes.
Thanks for being here with us. Some of us have a cold, but the BAFTA special is so sweet, and they do a little bit of a retrospective in the beginning,
Yeah.
and I was like, remembering, Matthew and Sybil and all the love moments from the past, and William passing, and it was wonderful. And then also there's a Text Santa
Oh, right. Yeah.
video that's 15 minutes long that was quite fun. Last year's was very fun. If you'll remember, George Clooney was in it. So so take a look for those things as well.
So, every time a series ends, they have a finale. And how many times have you heard that it was disappointing?
Right.
Or,
Yeah.
what's like, what?
Yes. What am I supposed to do
The
with
Sopranos,
that?
what? Exactly.
That's how it is?
But, in this one, I was just going, he pulled out all the stops. It had amazing production value and all the great little moments. And it's a finale, and everybody's getting great things happen. And you don't care.
Yeah,
You're just
you don't
going,
I don't care if it's all tied up in a pretty American bow.
I took it and I loved it.
That's the
right.
thing. So many people criticize American movies and American series
Right.
for, tying everything up so nicely.
Sure.
And quite frankly, I loved that from Uncle Julian. Although I still will never forgive him about the green thing. But that's okay.
true.
We're just going to move on. I'm not going to
Just
say it
moved
again.
on because he could have pulled that again, and he didn't. He let that coil go.
He
Yeah.
did let the coil
Just
go.
let the coil go.
Yeah,
Yes.
maybe he learned.
Learned his lesson.
Okay, but just looking at it, first of all, from the macro of it, just the shots and the beauty shots, because I was still going. They're still finding beauty shots of Downton Abbey. The last one with the snow and the Old Lang Syne.
Gorgeous. Oh, don't
Wow.
even bring it up.
I
I'm
know.
going to start crying again.
I was crying. I was like, what?
fantastic.
I'm getting I was sissified watching this thing, I have to tell you. Because it really got to me.
The pretty vistas just in the
Yes.
opening, and I loved Lord Grantham walking with the kids, and shots we haven't seen before,
Yeah,
like you said.
Henry Talbot on the bridge and Mary. I mean, that was a great shot. And then they're having
That
cocktails
Oh, the
on the yard.
cocktails.
Yeah.
Cocktails
Were
on
they
the yard.
drinking margaritas?
I know,
no,
it looked
they-
like it.
They were
thought
shaking
they
it
were-
up, and they were in margarita glasses. I was like,
No, I thought they were
they doing
martinis.
margaritas at that time?
but-
Maybe they changed the
But
glass
I just
later.
thought it was hysterical there and there. Texas in my, well, I call them Texas, and they're out there in the lawn,
on the
having
lawn,
cocktails.
in the
anyway.
summertime.
But and then of course we had this great juxtaposition. In terms of the production value, we see Thomas when he's on his new job and he's serving the two Lord and Lady of the
yes.
Manor in that small.
Yeah.
And it's just the two of them eating, and then we cut right to Brancaster with this. How many people were there?
Yeah.
Like 30 or 40 people at the dinner
That
table,
castle.
the dining
Whew.
table. And it was just a great shot. I just loved cutting back one to the other on that. I thought it was terrific. And then Brancaster alone. I mean, just looking at that. I know we've been there before, but just great shots.
I loved the moment with Edith and her father talking on that sort of
when she descends the stairway. Oh, you're talking about before that in Brancaster?
At Brancaster,
yeah, it was
outside.
a great shot. Yeah, that was a great scene too. And then to me, the parallel of that was when she came down the stairs and she's all in a gown and descending the. Sorry, I've lost them. Her veil, the train is long and everything.
But also when Cora came down in Brancaster and they sort of like followed.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was a great shot.
I was like, wow, that just
this opulence,
magnified it so much.
Grandeur of all. Yeah, it was terrific. Yeah.
Also, good opportunities with those kind of shots to see the wardrobe and the fashion that we often talk about. That now you look at because of us. Speaking of fashion,
I give you all the credit. Oh, there you go, Liz.
I know.
Yes.
She's got her feather headband.
And you've got
a
your
headband over here. You
very
bet.
nice, ladies. Very nice. Very nice.
I made some wardrobe suggestions for John that he promptly refused. So.
Lord John answers to no one.
Lord Comerford answers to no lady.
People who watch are used to me being in a very staid kind of outfit. That would freak them out to see.
Courtney and I were going to track down a top hat for you, but since we were all traveling, we couldn't make it work.
Speaking about the fashion, I do again want to thank you so much because I look at the series, I look at everything from really a story point of view and then an acting point of view, just because that's where I come from, now that you guys have pointed it out, I can't help but notice that kind of stuff, and it's like it really it has increased my enjoyment of this sumptuousness that is Downton Abbey. Because before it was like, it's neat, whatever. But,
it's neat.
Yeah, but now it's like, look at that. Oh, very nice. I mean, so many outfits of Edith's today.
Edith opened in bright red. She had on bright red walking through the park. She had bright red lips and a red dress, and then Mary's off in her like soft creams and grays. And she's softened and Edith has blossomed. And it's so great.
And I especially love at Brancaster when the Lord Grantham and Cora came and they greeted Mrs. Birdie. Not Mrs. Birdie,
my
but
gosh.
Mom Birdie. And then they turn around and they say, here's Edith. And she gets an entrance.
I loved that.
How often does Edith get an entrance? And
she even did the little, you can't see him, but, hands out to the side. Here I am.
It was terrific.
It was great.
Little did she know what was coming in a little bit. But
all right. Now we get into the details. Let's get into the Edith story because, we bemoaned like crazy that she's poor Edith, and we're going, is she ever going to find happiness? So, and then very soon, right out the get out, she's saying these things about, I'm a spinster, I'm supposed to be alone.
Yeah, I'm a spinster, aren't I? Spinsters live alone.
Yeah, exactly. And she's been, what is it? She's hasty as a glacier. And stuff like that. So, they're painting it, of course, reminding us like crazy that, she's never had any happiness and stuff like that. And then, well, when she first finds out that, her aunt has set up this thing at the Ritz. Yeah, exactly.
Dinner at the Ritz. I'd like to be invited to dinner at the Ritz.
Right?
Anybody? Anyone? Hello? Is this thing on?
I just like the moment when she turns to Rosamund, are you leaving?
And she's like, absolutely. Bye.
Most certainly, or whatever she said. That was so funny.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Awkward.
Yeah, exactly. And she just looked horrible. Not horrible. She just looked so sad when she said things like, you broke my heart. And, when she's talking to Birdie. And she goes, I understand it and everything, but,
But she was so strong about it, too, though.
Yeah, because she knew that was how it was. That was how it was going to be.
This is how it's going to be. She didn't, immediately melt, oh, my God, you want to see me? Thank you. I'm so glad. She didn't become that pitiful person.
And if I were to agree, and that's a big if, and all those kinds of stuff, and it was great, But because they were, they set it up, Julian set it up so nicely. And then they started, I just got to get to it quickly. When the wedding's happening, and I'm going, oh man, because you just don't
they're doing the roll down the hill.
The anticipation,
right? The wedding.
Yeah, she's so happy. They've been painting it like crazy.
I've never been happy before in my life.
And you're just waiting for the other shoe to fall, right?
Is he not going to show up?
Yeah, exactly.
Is what's his name? Gregson going to suddenly reappear? What's going to happen?
Because all of those things, we all, and all our YouTube viewers and our Twitter fans, everybody was talking about it. And there were so many opportunities for it to go. And even a few people in the UK got to watch it before I did. And so they were tweeting me and going, it ended, they would let me know a little bit. Then they would say, it ended happy, even for Edith, in the best way it could. And I was like, what does that mean? And I'm really glad that they said it that way because I had anticipation through the entire thing.
But wasn't that terrific the way he laid that out? Because, at the wedding, you're going, Oh my
Because I
God.
was so sure when Lord Grantham, I believe it was, asked her, is it because you're not over Gregson or whatever he said?
Loyalty to Gregson.
Oh, are they about to introduce what? No,
Right?
do not ruin this because they're gonna. And I'm like, why would he bring that up? What's gonna happen? So
wreck it.
Exactly. Why would you bring that up?
talking about her wrecking her own happiness and all that, and I was like, oh man.
And here she is, you know, and I thought it was great that she told.
I did. I thought it was really, Julian Fellowes at his finest, really laying it out. Go ahead.
Well, as she's talking to Mrs. Pelham, or Lady Pelham, excuse me.
Yeah.
And I'm going, don't. You don't have to be honest.
Weren't you
don't
shouting at the
Yes,
TV?
I was. I'm going, no, shut up.
Like,
Just
what
get
are you
married.
doing?
Stop.
He doesn't want to
Who
tell
cares?
his mom. That's his job.
What about that British decorum?
Yes.
None of our business.
Exactly. Now, you didn't want to tell Bertie for the longest time. Now you want to tell her.
everybody.
So,
Right,
but-
and what she was saying, with this, if you're going to be successful as the Marquess.
Marquess,
I can't remember. Sorry,
Marquesa.
the Marquesa is the wife, and the Marquess.
Yes.
So a moral center for the area, a moral man leading by example, because Cousin Peter's morality was not.
Kept trying to go in on that.
10 years.
And she
Years
says,
doing nasty things.
if you are to make a success here, you can't afford to put a foot wrong.
Yeah.
To which Lord Grantham says, golly.
the
Right?
whole
So I
thing
mean, they see the whole weight
wonderfully
sitting
set
there,
up.
right?
Wonderfully set up. And then, the fact that she says something, and even then I'm going, don't.
Like, why are you doing
Yeah,
this?
but I appreciate it too. I'm going, no, she learned her lessons from the Bertie thing.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, no, I'm gonna say this and get this, out on the carpet.
completely real.
Put the cards down. All of it was great, but then at the wedding, I'm just going at every moment. I mean, even the whole thing about it, forever hold your peace.
Forever hold your
I know.
peace, that light
Right
from
to
the
that
door
minute.
is like
Exactly.
kind of like somebody's about to
Exactly.
appear in the doorway.
And even Bertie, as he's standing there, he's like, forever hold your peace. He's like,
I have expected Mary to go.
Actually.
So are we going to talk about the Bertie and Mrs. Pelham and Edith?
Yeah, we're talking everything, but
Okay.
right,
You
first
look like
off,
you're going somewhere,
No,
sorry.
the only thing I wanted to say before,
Okay.
because we just went to the wedding, is how great was that shot, the backlit of Edith when she's
Edith,
coming down the aisle and she's all backlit and haloed, and it was just gorgeous.
And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
finally.
Yeah.
It's the last time you walked down the
Cheers
aisle.
to
Didn't
cheers
go
to
well.
that.
Yeah, she
right?
finally. So poor
Cheers.
Edith, no poor
No
Edith
more.
anymore. So, and the whole.
Not poor in any way.
Yeah, not poor. Exactly.
It's wealthy all
Wow,
around.
good for her. Congratulations. So she did get it all. She got
She
the
got it
she got
all.
the magazine.
She got her baby, her magazine.
Yeah, she got the whole
Her
thing.
man
Way to
and her
go.
And
castle.
Checks.
Yeah, and again,
Checks.
wrapped up. I didn't
Coins,
care.
as
I
they
go,
say
I don't
now.
care if it's wrapped up as long as it's told well. It was told well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there was enough conflict and drama in it that it was great.
I appreciate
All right,
it.
so you want to.
So the scene with Edith and Bertie, first of all, saying,
Yeah.
do you really want to tell her?
Yeah.
And she's like, my position hasn't changed from when we broke up, essentially.
Yeah.
So then Edith in with Lady Pelham.
Yeah.
And first of all, that room was interesting. No, the room where Bertie and his mom talked was interesting.
Yeah.
It was
The
like a
library.
library. Did you
Yeah.
see the giant volumes on the
tomes.
floor?
Yeah.
Yeah, so interesting. And I'm assuming that's at Brancaster Castle.
Probably.
But okay, right. So the Edith and Lady Pelham's conversation.
Yeah. Well, the cutaway of it was nice. They didn't go into it because we didn't have to hear it again. But
Right,
the
because we heard it
details.
before with Bertie
Right.
saying she's damaged goods.
yeah, that was
And
just.
she knows it,
Yeah.
and she's ruled out of the running. So there was no
Yeah.
ambivalence there. She was very clear on
Clearly.
her position, and it was exactly. Oh, this is the line that I think you liked so much, John. Her sordid revelations.
Yeah.
Oh, what did she
Fragrant.
say? Oh, more fragrant.
Fragrance.
That's it. Make her sordid revelations more fragrant.
Yeah, I was like, wow, nice
That's
line.
one way to say it.
Very, very nice line.
Well.
Yeah, but he stood up to his mother, so Bertie, way to go. Good for you.
Right,
love
and said
her.
like, "This is it.
This is
I
it.
guess
Yeah.
this is it." We're done.
And then I thought it was great at the dinner when they had the 50 guests, whatever. Every time I talk about it, it was 30, then it was 40, now it's 50. Yeah, exactly.
It just keeps growing.
And the fact that Bertie's waiting for mom to say something, she doesn't. He decides to, and then mom interrupts, and it's like,
Oh, and Lord
are you gonna
Grantham
do?
going, "You need to say your
Yeah.
piece now."
Yes.
The tension was
oh,
fabulous,
it was great.
wasn't
The politics of it all.
That
It's
was
like,
definitely a butt
say
squeeze
something now, or
moment.
you'll lose him forever. What's
I
that?
said that's definitely a butt squeeze moment. You're
Yeah.
like, is she gonna say it? Wait, what's gonna happen? This is
Poker
not gonna
factor
go
was
well.
high.
Yes.
Yeah, and then and even the toast was lukewarm at best, I guess. But she did what she needed to do. Yeah, it was great. So that was good for her. And but more importantly, there's the scene afterwards.
The after dinner.
When
scene.
And they're all sitting there,
Cora and Grantham and Edith, and Cora saying, "I'm amazed. I'm positively amazed."
And then what she had to say, what Lady Pelham had to say about Edith afterwards is, and then Cora saying, "I'm finally someone who's able to work that out."
I have been waiting for someone to work that out.
Yeah.
Loved it. Right. So Lady Pelham was saying, I'm afraid that's a reflection of me, your amazement. Yeah. And then said, am I to deny myself of a daughter who is entirely and unimpeachably honest? Yeah. What a beautiful thing to say. I was completely surprised. You guys?
Yeah, I was.
Did you see that
I thought they were going to hold it a little longer. I thought they were going to have, so they'll be together. And
Mama's never going to be like
exactly.
fine with it.
And I'd have been fine with that too. But to have her make that turn so quickly and have it work, I was like, and kudos to the actress who did it, because I thought she handled that extremely well.
Yes. So everything is settled.
Yeah.
Well, everything but.
Yeah. No, you finally had
kiss
it.
me.
My face right now. Wow, right in front of your mom and dad.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Whoa, so much emotion.
I liked
What's going on?
I thought it was going to be like, oh, thank you, I love you. Yeah. No, they
there were kisses all around, which leads Courtney and me to fill up our glasses. It's part of my job.
All right. So, but let's continue that, because we obviously, after the wedding was such great moments too. We had everybody at Highclere. I'm sorry, Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey.
Sorry. Slipped out. Oops. And again, it was just so grand and glorious to watch, and everybody there, and everybody's reaction to everything, and just such a pleasure.
Lovely.
Wasn't it?
Absolutely. We've seen the wedding drop down, the walk down the stairs. But and we talked about it a little bit, but just, there was that, I was dying to take a screenshot and tweet that picture of Edith standing on the stairs with her veil, like draping like that. Wasn't that so beautiful? And the flowers.
Extremely well composed. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then we have the Christmas tree in the original portion of the house, that Abbey area.
The tiny foyer.
The tiny foyer. And Rose arrives.
Oh my God! Yeah, that was a great welcome back. That was, and it was
so
such
much
a
fun.
Resurgence, such charge brought to the episode as well. It was, the energy was amazing.
No baby, but
baby pictures.
Mm-hmm. And then just the way everybody greeted her, and they had all these little moments in there, and then it was terrific. Yeah, and then of course she wants to go downstairs to see everybody else.
Which is so sweet.
Yeah,
and who was it who made the comment? Rosamund, who said, I know she's a mom and a wife, but her sort of exuberance is still there.
And she thanked him, saying that the husband is doing his job.
Yeah.
Because she hasn't changed.
Yay. So look, they're still in love too.
I loved it. And then she went and got all the gossip downstairs.
Exactly.
Everybody.
Little expos here or there, but it was,
I thought that was a really great way to get out the exposition. So tell me who you are and tell me what's what, and because I might as well talk about now, but the ratings were excellent for this show, and quite frankly, I know people. One of my friends sent me an email telling me that everyone died in the end, and the aliens come in and smoke the place or something like that.
It all caught on fire.
And I happen to know he's watched 3 episodes of Downton Abbey ever, but watched this one. So the ratings were really high for this. My point being that getting the expos out in places like that catch the people up who might be first or second time watchers.
Mm-hmm. Don't remember everything.
Late joiners. Whatever. We've been here from the beginning.
And then we had Cinderby, Lord Cinderby.
Lord Cinderby. And sort of interesting reminder.
That's Rose's dad, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Reminder of her mother.
Situation.
No Susan.
Situation. Why mom didn't get the baby name either.
Yeah, or wasn't invited to the wedding, apparently. Staying in India, enjoying Indian summers.
It happens all the time.
Okay. So we had, all right, well, congratulations to Edith, to the Marquesa.
The Marchioness.
Now let's go to the other
Marchioness.
sister because we got a lot to cover
Yeah,
here.
okay, just quick apology about any of it, getting any of that stuff wrong.
Yeah,
People,
here's the other
thank
thing.
you. We appreciate the corrections. We apologize for the mistakes. There's a lot going on in all of our heads, and so.
But we're moving on
Thank
to
you.
Mary because
Mary.
all this wonderfulness for Edith is due to her to a large degree. She's the one that made the call.
She
Right.
put her nose down and made
Quickly,
a phone
I would just
call.
like to talk about Imogen, one of our fans, who said months ago, I think that it is quite clear that Edith will marry Bertie, but I would really like to think that Mary has something to do with it.
Get it,
Bam!
Imogen.
Prediction win.
Right on top of it.
I have a few more of those that I'll be mentioning
Okay.
later. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's the one that makes the call and sets it all up, and it gets Rosamond to help out and gets that machine rolling, and that's terrific. So, and it all comes from Granny, something Granny says,
Yes.
so which is nice. So Violet there. But despite all that, let's talk about her, and they seem very happy together, she and
Very
Henry.
happy. She's so
and very
soft and
well
cushy.
suited.
She's just like, honey, I love you.
I love
I'm in
you.
bed,
Do you
and
know how
I'm
much
so
I
proud
love
of
you? I'm
If you want
so
to be a
proud of
bum
you.
in the bed and do nothing, I don't care. I love you. I was just like, who is this woman? Who just a few episodes ago was like, he's beneath me. I need to at least have somebody that has some money or know my level. She's like, no, honey.
I
Sleep on the
love
pillow.
you.
You do nothing.
I
You can
love
just
you.
Hang out, and I love you anyway.
I love you.
Good for her. Very proud of you, Mary. Very proud
We
of you.
are.
Please continue. This is very good.
John finds us
It
delightful.
was great because she literally was lounging with him. So when
Yes.
they lounged across the bed,
Yes,
when they were
on the
outside having
bridge,
drinks, she was lounging on the rocks or whatever that was, where he was over there all intensely thinking, and she just laid out like, honey, it's
And also,
okay,
do you
it's
want to
fine."
go for a walk?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's very comfortable.
Oh, okay,
for a
so
walk.
but obviously he feels like he needs to do something because he wants
Yes.
someone to feel worthy of her
As he should.
as
Good
a
job.
rightful
What a sweet way of
More
putting
regret
it.
would
I
do.
mean, you
There's a
know,
duty, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I sort of disagree with feeling worthy of her, but I understand the time is different than it is now. But I think
understand it.
but I think it's incredibly sweet of him. You know, I've got to get a job, which was, if you remember when Matthew talked about having a job,
It was
not that
like,
many
oh.
years ago, people were like, huh?
Who needs a job?
Yeah,
Why
and
do you
so
need to do
it's
that?
quite resourceful and
And like he put it, he said, it's not about like all of that. It's about me. I don't want you to have to explain me.
Right.
And I was like, that's a beautiful way to say that. Because people would be like, well, what is he doing? And he doesn't
Right.
even want, even if she's fine with it, he doesn't want to put her in that position.
right,
And she just loved him
incredibly
anyway.
thoughtful, and she loves him for it.
I love you, honey.
Love you. I love you.
Don't
but
want to
okay.
raise any more grace.
So, but he ends up with Tom selling used cars.
Which was really hilarious.
Oh my god!
I did not expect her to make a turnaround when she saw it. Her face
Oh,
was
it's
like,
amazing.
what the heck is this?
Well, and I was going, wait, is he
Really?
Is he? As they're going to Talbot and Tom, the building, I'm going, what the
I
hell?
mean, I guess that's smart, but
Because-
that's tacky.
I mean, the way they're, you know, because he wants to stay in he loves cars or
loves cars, stay in the
transport,
business.
as he says, and I'm going, what's he gonna do? So in my head, I'm going, what's he gonna do? Sell cars? You know, in my
Yeah.
head.
As a matter
Restore
of
and
fact,
sell them.
he's going to be a
Put them together.
second-hand
there you go.
car dealer.
Well, you got a mechanic and a chauffeur.
Mary
so.
definitely double played that because
Yeah.
her face was definitely saying, "Oh hell no!" And then she said, "I'm delighted. This is the best thing that ever happened in my life.
I'm proud
I'm so proud of you."
and pregnant.
Yes, and proud and pregnant.
I
So-
loved, you know, both times when I watched this, because I watched it twice, you know, I'm so proud. And I went, oh my God, and then she was like,
You knew?
I
you,
did.
You could do in that moment, huh?
And I just think it was absolutely Michelle Dockery's, you know, portrayal of that moment.
Yeah.
It was incredibly sweet. And okay, hello, the next conversation, but we can't tell anyone. It's a secret.
Don't want to steal her thunder.
Thank you. We don't want to steal Edith's thunder.
When
And
did she not
Tom's
wanted to steal the thunder of Edith?
always. And Tom's response, well, that's just an answer for a happy ending right there, or something like whatever he said.
He was like, basically,
Right? Didn't you love that?
Oh yes, and you know, because I know you guys
She's a
are
whole new
sisters, I was looking to you for how important that was.
It was
'Cause-
huge.
Yeah, it was not only that,
Enormous.
but then later when he says, "Oh, you guys got to be best friends," and
I
she says, "Well,
know.
not exactly.
Not
I'm
best friends,
not
but
saying-
we are blood.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Sisters
sisters
have
have
secrets.
secrets.
I loved it.
Yeah, and I was the whole time I'm
true.
going, I can't can't wait to find out what Courtney and Tamara say about that.
First of all, Courtney and I have secrets between us.
Yeah, I know.
That none of you boys know about. Because we do.
Oh,
Just because we're podcast sisters.
Podcast sisters, yeah.
Plus, we've known each other for a really long time. Yeah. And we both have sisters, yeah.
Yeah. So
We get that.
but wasn't that a great moment, though,
was
to see that? And it was, and again, I don't think that was wrapped up nicely in a bow.
No.
Because even Mary and Edith have their scene where she says, you know, why, and Mary has
sort of
that great
let's
line.
try.
I think it was over and let's try to do better or whatever it was.
Yeah, because you know it's not going to go easy. I mean,
No.
they're going to still have their
You're not
difficulties.
going to
and
suddenly
stuff like
love
that.
her to death.
Yeah, but it's interesting when you see a character come to the moment where they realize, you know, I got to stop doing it this way and choose another way.
it's not
And
working.
it doesn't mean it's going to be easy at all. It doesn't mean there's still going to be fraught with
I'm
problems.
not going to do it every time.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna fail.
But I'm gonna have that in my head as which is great. It was a wonderful moment to see. And moving on from this, we also see it in Thomas. We had the same kind of moment. Obviously, he's been through a lot, and he has his ordeal and the thing he overcomes and the help he gets from people to survive.
And he
what he
finally recognizes and appreciates that somebody actually cares about him and cherishes him.
and took ownership of the part that he had a role in the play in the fact that he brought some of this on himself and all that kind of stuff.
I no longer was not okay that he didn't die.
Yeah.
He won me back again.
He did. He
Back
got a new
again.
job. Okay, so there was this sort of balance that was going on.
Right.
Mostly between Carson and Thomas, but also between Thomas and the other characters, where they give a little and take a little, give a little and take a little. Yeah. But one of the moments that I thought was really lovely and I appreciated seeing it so much was when it was revealed that Thomas had a new job and Carson said, "You deserve it." Yeah. Which was incredibly generous for Carson to do because.
And it only took an attempted suicide to get there.
Only near death.
Because
multiple
he
times
probably
near
would
death.
not have said that had
Probably
it been
not.
different. Yeah.
But deservedly so.
Exactly. But it was a nice moment.
Well, and when he's actually leaving, was it Mrs. Patmore said, "I don't know if you're a good thing or a bad thing."
Yeah, but we've been together a long time.
But we've been together a long time, and there's something to say for that. And he's
but-
like, "Well, on that moving note."
Take that.
Check the
and go.
dining room. Yeah. But
And Anna cautioning Bates, going, "Nothing ungenerous."
yeah.
So, everybody knows how careful this balance is that we
Yeah,
all have
it
to
is.
strike
So
with
So it wasn't
Thomas.
totally
Tenuous
fake,
alliance.
which was nice. Like,
Yeah.
it was honest.
And that's what real life is like.
Yeah.
Sometimes things are not clear
Like,
cut.
I know you're shady, but
Yeah, exactly.
I
And
recognize
we
there's
hope
some
you
good
do
in
turn
here.
over a new leaf.
Yes.
But
Actually.
But I thought it was handled well. I also loved, I'm assuming a lot of people figured it out that, he'll end up, taking over. As soon as Carson, you saw
of
the
course.
tremor.
Oh,
you
would
went,
we like to
okay,
say
Thomas will be
who?
back.
Let's talk about it. Nico Dov, 1181. I don't know your actual name, but she is the one who said Thomas will be the last butler standing. And we talked about it on the podcast. This is many months ago, but she said, so she predicted that Carson would actually die, and Thomas, the evil butler, who's becoming the good butler, will be promoted to head butler at Downton. And someone else actually put it as Thomas being the last butler standing, but I couldn't find it in my notes. I'm sorry, but
That's
you
right.
also get kudos for a great prediction.
Yeah, it was terrific.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, but regardless of me being able to see it or whatever, it was still, I just liked that, he, because, for weeks now he's been looking for a new job. He gets a new job. He gets there. He's the butler. But it's just, there's nobody
He recognizes
there.
the joy that he actually had around him.
Yeah, clearly it's always easier to see what you miss or what you have once you miss it.
Once
or
it's
no
And
longer
he
gone.
there.
was still humble about it.
Yeah,
when
he
came
was.
back.
But I just like to be in that place.
In the other hand, the tiny house.
Nobody there.
There's nobody to talk to. Oh, I'm the only butler?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It was terrible.
Hello,
And let's face it, he wasn't likely to have that job for long.
That's true.
Just
Crotchety old man is like, it ain't 1855. He's like, you got a job.
Yeah,
and
you're
he
not gonna
looked
be
like he was 1855.
Exactly. Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Great.
But even the way when he came back we're at the reception, so to speak, for the wedding, and Carson, of course, he can't pour. And Barrow steps up. No, and he says, "No, I'm here I want to help."
like, "No,
he said, "No, you're here as a guest." That was another
You're a
nice moment. You're here as a
guest.
guest. And he goes, "No, but I want to help." And I thought it was just great. It was, and again, it's very wrapped up and synchronicitous and all that stuff. But I don't care.
But
I like the way it worked.
It's people acting at their best.
Right.
Him not going, "Screw you, you're right. Bring me another glass." Which in theory he could have. And, Carson being generous all the way around.
And I don't want to twist you.
I don't want to twist your arm, and I don't want to. Oh, what was the other?
No, he said twist your arm. I don't want to force your hand.
Force your hand or twist your arm, because there was a hand and an arm involved.
Exactly.
I remember that much.
It's a nice turn phrase.
Back up just a little bit when Thomas was leaving.
Oh,
Can we talk about
saying
that?
goodbye to everybody. The two times. The first time saying goodbye to Lord Grantham and then Cora and and he says and again the generosity he showed Baxter about, look, if I learned anything, you need to put Coyle behind you as well.
Right. I loved that conversation.
Parting gift to you.
Yeah, that conversation of, don't let him have power over you, and don't let your past define you.
That's what he's going through, which
For
is great.
both of them.
Wonderful. And then when he's outside and they, because they have to go to Brancaster, so the moments he had with Cora and Lord Grantham there, and just
I came as a boy.
Yeah, it looked authentic.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. All those kinds of things, and Lord Grantham sees something different, and so it was nice. It was just good.
Yeah. And wait, who kissed him when he was leaving finally?
Mrs. Hughes. Give us a kiss.
Give me a kiss. I was like, they crossed the full line. Like, that's like your grandma being like, you know what? I know you want some crap. Give me a kiss. Shut up.
Give me a
Come
kiss.
Here. Over here. And he needed it.
Yes, he did.
Because he's so cold and needs to feel love.
And then Mary brings the kids.
Oh, the kids.
Who love him. Mr. Barrow.
No,
Master
you
George.
can't stay.
It's a hug from Sibby.
It was great.
And then he had to rush off because he was about to cry.
Yeah, there were a lot of
Tearing up.
almost tears from a lot of men. Manly men, but still many of tears.
Hey, man, I got me. I was crying.
I think it's actually showing in the it is showing in the U.S. right now, the protocol special that they did, where they had the protocol expert who's on set. And he talks about how nobody touched each other. There were no hugs. There were no handshakes. There was none of that. And so, with that in mind, to see the kiss, to see the handshake between Barrow and Lord Grantham was kind of momentous.
Yes.
Both just from a germ standpoint as well as a
status.
Thank you. Status standpoint was really something special. And, all of the generosity, which is actually the word that they use, but the generosity between Thomas and Carson and Thomas, it was just really lovely, and we liked it.
And I also like the fact that, it was the out for Carson that he needed, because, he would still be able to be there, have his pension, all that other stuff.
Downstairs Lord of the Manor.
Exactly. I thought that was a great, and I don't expect that pairing to go easily either, but it's terrific.
But he's humbled. I think he's humbled enough to be like, Carson, I get it. Like, I know who you are.
Yeah.
You know who I get it, and it would be fine. But can I just say, I was in love with Mary again, because her genuine emotion about like being worried about Carson.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's going to be fine. Like, no, we're going to figure this out. It's going to be just fine. And it was just so precious, because really he still, even though he knows he has a special like relationship with Mary, he still thinks in his like structured mode, like, it's not your job to worry about me and make sure I'm taken care of and like all of that. But she was still in it, and
she was really
that.
worried.
Yeah, she was very concerned.
He's her second father.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So
Love.
it was nice. Well, since we're talking about Carson, let's keep going with that.
Oh, yes.
Because obviously that is a huge thing. So did Tammy, you cut the trimmer the first time when you
I
brought
did
in
the very first. I was like, oh yeah.
I was like, when that happened, I go, interesting. Why they? Oh.
That's where we're going. That's where we're going.
Yeah, and then it kept going. I go, would you stop trying to pour things? We get it.
Yes.
Speaking of pouring,
But I did think he was gonna die. I was
What's
like,
that?
Did you?
Once, because I never thought he was gonna die. I would thought Violet was gonna die.
Right.
But like when
You thought somebody was gonna die.
as soon as he had his little
Right.
like thing, I was like, oh, he gonna have a heart attack and fall on the table or something. Like, just like when the random Lord Grantham throw up at the table, like it was gonna be something shocking and awful, and it was gonna be tragic.
Yeah, the only thing that stopped me from thinking that is I go, no, it's Christmas special. They're not gonna kill anybody.
yeah, they've had enough of the Christmas special.
They did that
Need
once. They
one
got killed for it.
tragedy.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's the tragedy?
Yes.
So-
it was the fake tragedy with Lord Merton, but whatever.
And Mrs. Hughes notices right away.
Yeah.
She notices the first time she sees it. It comes up again. It comes up again. It comes up again. And finally, what are you going to tell me about it?
Yeah.
So it's the palsy.
The
Or
palsy,
whatever
nothing
it
I
is,
can do about it.
Exactly. And it reveals that his father and his grandfather both had it, and they seem to both have butlers. I think were they both butlers or whatever?
Were,
they
and
seemed
it
like-
ended their career.
Yeah, exactly.
I liked Mrs. Hughes's comment of ignorance is not bliss.
Yeah.
Kind of calling back to her health scare and her coaching Mrs. Patmore through hers, because there was a little, I don't want to know about it with hers. And so she was going to be the proactive wife in this one. Yeah, I mean, did you? Oh, right. So, did we already talk about Last Butler Stand? Yeah. Okay. So, sorry, I'm juggling things.
That's right. But what I appreciated about that storyline, you know, of course, we're gonna go back and forth on tell me not, and who are they gonna reveal it to and stuff. And but I thought they revealed it the way it needed to come and stuff. And all I cared about at the end, after all this storyline, was that he found a place. And then at the end, when they were talking to each other, I just loved when she says Charlie and he calls her Elsie.
Charlie and Elsie.
That was done. That's when I finally actually cried, because like the whole time I was like, oh my god, Charlie, Carson, Charlie. Yeah, that broke me.
It's hysterical because I'm trying to go through the storyline, and I don't really care about the storyline because the only moment I really cared about was that one with Charlie.
One, it harkens back to the other season ender where they finally held hands at the beach. So they're clearly part of the heart of the entire series.
And all it took was them to call each other by their first name. Because remember the big hullabaloo they had? What are we going to call you, Mrs. Hughes? We have to call you Mrs. Carson.
Oh, gracious.
And they used their first names. That's right.
They do. They're people too.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
So great.
Yeah, no, I loved that. I loved it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we'll have some sort of life after that, which is great. That was a wonderful little tie.
Well, and just kind of to speak in practical terms, he obviously knows things like the proper wines. We've talked about Carson, doing that, and sort of like, when we're playing dominoes at my house and we don't know the rules, we call my dad. It's that thing of things that don't come up that frequently. Carson is going to be the
Thomas is gonna how do I
probably not like this.
Maybe not like that. Like this.
Exactly. So it's kind of the perfect.
You need that
solution.
butler emeritus. You need him.
The butler emeritus.
You need that.
I love it.
Exactly.
All right. Well, speaking of emeritus, let's move on to Violet and Isobel.
Oh my God!
How I love the old lady gang.
Don't you love them?
The old lady gang is
that's it.
That was fantastic.
It's like the Grey Panthers, man.
I aspire to be one of them.
I literally wrote that down.
Okay, you and me,
I
Courtney,
need to
we
find
will.
her. I literally wrote it
You
down.
got
Like,
about
I
50
want to
years
be
to
them
get
when
there,
I grow up.
All right, we'll chat about it in a couple decades.
But it starts out, of course, she gets notified. She gets asked out to tea for some reason by Lord.
And then it gets canceled.
Yeah, Lord Merton's son.
Right,
Larry.
right. Isobel,
and she agrees to it. And then, of course, that gets canceled because of something. Mystery.
And then they go away.
And Lord Merton stops talking. And of course, we find out, of course, that he's been diagnosed with anemia.
Pernicious anemia.
It's like,
which back then was a death sentence.
Right.
Yes.
And so that puts a pallor over everything. And
that's awful.
We have to deal with that. And then, of course, Crookshank, now no longer Crookshank, but what's her name?
Amelia.
And
I didn't even
she's
know. I just kept calling her
Lady
Biatch.
so-and-so now. I don't even know that name.
Merton Gray.
I just like to
whatever.
call her Crookshank because I love the name.
Yeah.
And she is Crookshank to me. So she's
Gnarly
like
name.
Crookshank.
Couldn't remember the name.
Exactly.
Just called her Biatch. All over my notes.
Lady Biatch.
Lady Biatch.
Yeah, okay.
Like, why are you so mean?
Oh, she was terrific, though.
She was terrific.
Great.
She was amazing.
I thought she was just absolutely
She was
wonderful.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, and there were all these machinations earlier in the season about her. We need you, and obviously that came back. But she played a really good version of that. Logan Barry Trifle talked sort of about. The prediction was Lord Merton was using Crookshank to get Isobel back. So that's not quite right, but like a close prediction on that.
And a fun one.
So when they go to Dr. Clarkson to talk about everything, and they're leaving, and that's when we first see Crookshank, and she meets up with him. I just thought the way she
in the street
took
over,
over,
Get in the car.
Get him in the car. I was like. And I'm
Who
going,
are you?
You're a lord, Merton.
Yes.
Do something.
Stand up. He's such a nerd.
Wasn't there some serious like bitch slapping you wanted to do there?
Oh my God, and Isobel
you're
is
not
like,
dead yet.
Oh yeah,
But I also noted when they came out and they were talking to Clarkson there, and then they walk out. Isobel was very strong about her love for Merton right in front of Dr. Clarkson, and they were just kind of like, "Come on, honey," and walked. And I was like, "Oh, Clarkson is not sensitive no more." Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, Couldn't you hold that moment
mean,
there?
Just a little.
That was a little overt
it was,
expression of
But,
affection.
Especially for the English.
Yeah.
I guess when you get a sentence of death,
I guess.
maybe it
You just
moves
drop it all,
things
you don't
along
care
faster.
anymore, yeah.
One of my favorite moments in that whole storyline was when Isobel finally gets to see Lord Merton on her own, and he tells her that he's sick, right?
Right.
And he says, I have pernicious anemia. He's resigned to die. And he says, I should have liked to have been married to you.
I've had a great life. Everything was wonderful. But I would have liked to have married you.
Yeah.
But anyway, that scene in the street with Crookshank and Isobel I just thought it was a great scene. So obviously she tells Violet all about this, and Violet's like, "Oh no,
we're not doing that."
Oh, she's
what am I
not
gonna
letting
do?
other people tell her what to do.
No, and what is she? Go ahead.
And then I'm sorry, I forgot to say that she goes back to see him, and she gets the door shut in her
Slammed
face.
in her face.
Yes.
I was like, "Whoa, nice!" And then she goes to Violet, and Violet's going.
Oh,
she says,
no,
"What am I going to do?
didn't,
Run
is
upstairs?"
what she
Exactly.
said,
She said,
right?
"Oh no, they didn't." And if it doesn't work, what does she say? Politeness doesn't
Yeah,
work.
reason
Use
doesn't
force.
work.
Reason doesn't work.
Force.
Use force.
Yeah, and then I was like, "Oh, this is going to be good."
I couldn't wait. I was waiting.
Exactly.
She's gonna go
So,
with her cane.
Yeah, we see the Grey Panthers show up, and,
Yes.
and they're just barging their way in. I thought it was just great.
And then Lord Merton hears voices. I heard your voice.
It was wonderfully shot too. I thought it was staged well. I mean, the whole thing coming down the stairs. And all the craziness.
I left him wearing a shirt and a tie with his robe.
Yeah. It's like, how bad can he feel?
Yeah.
Take the damn tie off, and then I'd feel better. So,
Yep.
And that's the language there, and then the fact that she says that you're coming to my place, and by the way, we're gonna get married.
Oh, yeah.
Your stuff. Take that. Take that.
Yeah, Crookshank's going. No, she's trying to steal you.
it. And he's like, you can have it all. Shut the hell up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get my
Perfectly
stuff.
marvelous.
Moving it
Perfectly
along.
marvelous. Oh, just great.
Oh,
scene.
perfectly
And of
marvelous.
course, Violet needing the last
because I
word.
intend to marry him.
I know, but Violet needing to have the last word. He says perfectly marvelous, and who can argue with that? It was terrific.
Smile,
Oh, my God.
stars, hearts, the whole thing.
I love the old
so
lady.
And
great,
Larry Gray standing there going, as
Larry,
well.
as my son, I love you. But
And
I've
they-
tried.
Yeah.
And I failed to like you.
Yeah, and it was great because they gave it all up because they don't need the damn
And again,
thing.
perfectly fine solution.
Yeah.
Isabel's house is very comfortable.
Comfortable,
They'll
and they just want each
wallow
other.
in their misery, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, let them
Whatever she
live
says,
at
yeah.
opposite ends of that
Yeah,
house,
terrible.
shouting at each other.
Yeah.
The scene where Isobel and Violet were talking and sort of where Violet resolved to use force.
Right.
And Isobel was saying, I understand that it's a diagnosis and everything, but I just keep finding myself bursting into tears.
Oh God. Yeah.
And then
Violet.
did I say Isabel that? And,
I
and
get
Violet
Violet.
says, but of course you are because you're in love.
And she really? What? Like, she
Am
hadn't
I?
Even...
Did I? What?
And then they kept talking, and she said, "Has the love with Violet, with the Russian,
prince.
the
Prince,
like,
yeah.
have you ever-"
Prince
and then
Karan.
she's like, "I'm not going to reveal that." And I was like,
Yeah.
Just staying herself,
You know
right?
me well enough that I don't answer anything more incriminating than
Exactly.
do I need a new rug?
Do I need a new rug? Right, just staying themselves
yeah.
and
But
delightful
really supporting
moments.
each other, being there for each other
Yeah.
the way we want them to
They're
be.
besties. Let's just
They are
face
besties.
it, right?
They'll go head to head again.
BFFs for life.
They
it's
are.
terrific. Even at the end, there we're talking about they're toasting the new year and they have their moment. About.
Right. So Caroline wrote to me earlier today saying that was her favorite moment of the episode when they talk about every year.
We get to toast to the future.
Yeah, exactly. Whether or not it makes me smile the way every year we drink to the future, whatever it may bring. Well, what else could we drink to? We are going forward into the future, not back into the past, which has been the theme of the entire series from beginning to end. Yeah. And the Dowager, if only we had the choice. Right?
She's still the same.
Okay, I have to say my favorite moment with Violet was at the wedding when she's talking to Rosamond. She says, "What is it about the
English?"
What is it about the English? As Americans, we
opinions vary. Some people say it's our history.
But I think it's the weather.
Yeah, it's the weather.
It's definitely the
Well,
weather.
because
I think I'd be a much different person in that
If I
way.
was living there, yeah, for sure.
yeah, and there's the talk of you don't like the weather, just wait, it'll change.
Yeah.
but it'll probably always be gray.
It was such a joy to watch them fight together because for much of the series we've seen them fight each other.
Yes.
But it's always been great when I get to see them having a joint enemy and they get to join forces.
Yeah.
It just delights me to see the two of them together.
Agreed.
They're formidable. Those two.
And they have mutual respect for each other.
And it's kind of like in a way that is a sisterly thing too. It's like I can fight with my sister all I want,
you can't
but
mess
you
with my
can't
sister.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's what I loved about that. All right. Okay, and let's move on to Lord Grantham and Cora because obviously he's still pissed off about the hospital situation because that kind of feeds into how Violet had a great moment with Cora about the whole this is your kingdom. This is your village. This is your hospital, and you run it well.
Yeah, and you run it well.
Great moment. Handed it over, passed the baton.
torch.
Do you guys remember the early scenes? I think it may have even been in season 1 with the whole with the Dowager presiding over the flower show.
Yes.
There was like an orchid show, and there was a whole thing there, and so interesting to see if you can remember back that far to how it is now and passing the torch. It's quite a beautiful moment.
And while she comes to be okay with it, and so does Lord Grantham. In the beginning of the episode, he obviously is still pissed off about this, and she's taking up too much time, or the hospital's taking too much of her time, and then by rationalizing by saying that because she's so nice, they're taking advantage of her. Yeah, and
what do you really mean though?
Yeah, he just doesn't like the fact that it's time away from him.
Yes.
Clearly.
He had to grow up again.
But, again, Rose with her energy and, I love the way they wrote this too. Julian, congratulations. She's the one that realizes, okay, look, he needs to see this because
my parents.
I know exactly. I know what my parents, what they went through, and you're not getting
to
it,
give
buddy.
Perspective.
Let me slap you upside the head by having you see who she is and how she is out in the world in a position where it doesn't concern you or isn't about you, and you can really see a different side of your wife that you haven't seen in a while. I thought it was great. I thought it was terrific, and only Rose could have done that because she charms him in a way, and the innocence about that. He just sure, fine, I'll go.
Okay, I'll take you.
And also how she insisted.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that was very clever how there was no way out for anybody.
Yeah, how was he going to say no to her?
No, I need it to be
exactly. And then he does. He gets to see her in a totally different light because he wants her to just be this, and then it opens his eyes to wow, she can be so much more, and I'm the one holding her back. Yeah, he's proud.
And then he remembers how she was the administrator of the home when it was the hospital.
Yeah, so it was terrific, and more opportunities for him to be proud. So and as if you're the patriarch or something, I mean that what a better feeling. I mean you can't. I mean being proud of your daughters. I mean what they've done and accomplished, and then the household, and then of course your wife. I mean,
it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. And so at the end, when he's saying things like he has very little to do with this. Exactly. He realizes
I didn't really have anything to do with it.
Yeah, exactly.
You still have a right to be proud.
Yes. Okay. And their storyline was fitting.
Yes.
And then they had that scene down the hallway as they're talking about everything and their daughters and
he's wrapping up the whole series.
It was just and all she wants is to be able to live long and enjoy her
happy
children.
life together.
It doesn't matter where, as long as we're together.
And of course it's a Christmas episode and I'm going, yeah, just what everybody's thinking that right about most people before the craziness of the holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to be with
and
you.
then he says, and I think we have a good chance.
Do you have a Kleenex?
I don't. I'm gonna have to use my
mine are in my purse.
There you go.
My very pretty. Oh, look at you! Thanks.
Oh, go, John.
There you go.
Keeping those hankies.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was lovely.
It was.
And I like that we got to something more from Cora because we had a while where it was like Cora was like randomly laying around like making
so
comments
true.
and it was annoying. It's like, can she be somebody like?
Oh, but wait, can we? This is a little bit going back and it's about Cora when.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Edith calls Dad to tell him that she's engaged, right?
Yeah,
and so he comes barging into the room. What is it? Well,
you'll never guess.
You'll never guess.
She's pregnant.
She's pregnant.
No. She's being tried for treason. No. The read on that, Elizabeth McGovern's moment, because she's literally lounging in bed with her hair and all that, and the way she did those lines was freaking brilliant. It was so hilarious. Yeah. And so touching and funny. It was true,
brilliant. She's just waiting for she's waiting like the rest of us for the other shoe to fall.
We all know it's poor Edith. It's got to be something.
She's pregnant again.
I just thought that was freaking brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah, and it was the whole arc there with not only Lord Grantham but with Violet. I mean, you really could see. Okay, you could see because prior to this, I really wasn't seeing Lady Grantham as stepping into that role, but you could see that happening.
Yes.
Right?
And it would be a much different village
Place.
than how the Dowager ran it. But
Because
you
for
could
years
see
she'd been acquiescing to, you know, Violet is in
Exactly,
charge. I'm
yeah.
American. She probably already had an issue with that. They
Yeah.
had to get over, so they got over that. Like, I'm gonna just be quiet and be okay until she's non-functional anymore.
And just with those few moments, you got to see that this is going to be a possibility for her, and that the village is going to be a different place, and that would be. And I was fascinated by how would it be different, and how it would be run if she's quote the matriarch.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it was a more subtle forecasting of the future, but equally satisfying.
Yeah, because it opened that window to that. I thought that was great. And speaking of opening windows, let's talk about Daisy and Andrew.
Oh my God,
Daisy.
First of all, Andrew, I got to give him credit. I mean, terrific. Just trying like crazy and getting nowhere, and then okay, fine, I'm done.
No kidding about getting nowhere.
She was such a pill.
She was bad. I was like,
Such a
whoa,
pill,
Daisy, you
but
just shut him down.
She gets so snotty, but she gets snotty though. And Patmore always calling her to task. Exactly, checked her like crazy. It was great. But I want to go. All right, somebody shut Daisy up or slap her because
Just like with Mr. Mason and the farm, like shut up, get it together, girl. You are wrong. Please.
Yeah.
Patmore's like, you like them when they don't like you, and then when they do, you're a psychopath. Shut up and get it together. So she decides to chop her hair off.
Right. Okay. Yeah. You could do better. I could do worse.
Yeah.
Mr. Mason, you could do better.
Nice. That's the second time I've heard that.
But that was great when she's looking at him on the roof, and you just see her start to melt. Like, oh, he is strong.
I was a little surprised they didn't show him
he
shirtless.
Can build stuff. Okay, that was exactly. It was all over.
He could build stuff.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And I love. And I love that Mason and Patmore are the ones like telling the young, you're dummies. You're such dummies.
Yeah,
like, get it together. It was so great.
Oh, God, I can't find it right now, but one of our Twitter buddies, our YouTube buddies said, it was a man. I'm sorry. I can't find it right now. I'm drinking. Anyway, he said, great job. Can't wait to see the Christmas special.
One thing to say about
Just have
Daisy.
one thing to say. Daisy sucks.
And
it's true. She kind of did.
But she got it right.
She did.
She got it together. She got it together.
But she didn't get her hair right. That was hysterical.
Okay, the hair dryer. So we had sunglasses and a hair dryer in this season. It's very exciting.
Yeah, but a hair dryer, that didn't look much different than the hair dryers.
It doesn't. I was amazed
much heavier
by that.
It just looked a bit larger and heavier, but that's it.
I'm surprised it had a cord though, because I half expected them to light a fuse inside.
To set it on fire.
Yeah, exactly.
But, hey, go Anna, because apparently Anna has to figure out how to be like a cosmetologist immediately, a hair dryer, how to brush it properly to curl it.
Because that was a cute do she had.
Yeah, she ended up with a cute do, but the one before was amazing.
You look like Clara Bow.
The It Girl.
Oh, the It Girl.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, and we've been out of step. Let's get in step, and I was just okay. There you go.
So it wasn't totally like, oh my God, I love you. It was like, we're gonna get it together. And then it went on.
And she gets love, and he gets love, and Mrs. Patmore gets love, and Mr. Mason gets love.
I was so happy.
We saw Mrs. Patmore blush.
I know.
Yeah.
She was like, I hope we're going to see more of you.
What are you talking about?
Like, what do you mean?
I think you do.
You know what I mean, girl. You know exactly what I mean.
Yeah,
I think
the
something's
Edwardian
burning
version
on
of
the
that.
stove. Exactly.
It was so great. Especially after her run-in previously where she got fooled into thinking she was... So Miss Patmore got love
Miss
too.
Patmore got love. You was terrific, right?
And you get love, and
All
you
love.
get love.
I wish we had heart confetti.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Throw some heart confetti. That's what it was.
Okay, but heart confetti. Would you throw heart confetti? Anna Bates.
Oh, Anna
Anna
Bates.
Bates.
Okay.
It was kind of like, for me, I was like, because they've been so,
Yeah.
in the middle of everything for the
They have
entire
been.
series. It was really interesting that they were just the side pieces this time around. She's pregnant. Oh, you're huge. Oh, it's about to pop out. Okay.
Oh, you brought her.
But it was cute. But when she broke her, when her water broke,
yeah.
and Mary just looked at it and goes, "Oh,
Your water's
isn't broken."
let's take off your shoes.
Okay.
I'm going to get you a nightgown. And the roles were reversed.
It was very matter of
That
fact.
was a great moment, though. It's like, oh, what a great little touch there. To take the time to have, it's like, well, let's have Mary dress
attend to her the
After
way
all this
Anna
time,
has
she's been
for
doing
so many
it
years.
for you.
And they, I mean, people have talked about how it was probably implausible, an implausible relationship.
Right.
But for TV, we like it.
Yeah. Again.
It was a kind of partnership. They've helped each other out so many times with Pamuk.
So many things from John.
With the device
Yeah,
that got that
That
got hidden.
Right.
And it was right and well that Mary should be attending to Anna.
She's
in
actually
this.
sleeping in her bed.
In her bed. Birth all over the place.
Birthing in her bed.
Birthing in her bed.
Which,
Yeah, that's deep. Because
Speaking of call the
can we get
midwife.
it downstairs?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great too when the butter broke and then everybody's running around.
Running!
Yeah.
Running!
Carson's going, she's not giving birth in Lady
Aunt
Mary's room.
That would be undignified.
Shut up.
And they even, Lady and Lord Grantham talking about it. Oh, Violet, if Mama finds out about it.
She will have a heart attack or don't tell the
Yeah.
person. But then Lord Grantham bringing champagne upstairs.
Yeah.
What's going on?
He's bringing champagne.
He's
good
serving
stuff,
champagne to the
too.
servers.
In a crystal glass. Thank you.
This is for you guys, and the rest of us are gonna go party.
Yeah, things
so
are really changing.
times are
Yeah,
changing.
the Edwardian era is over.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it was good.
And so
Great TV.
there's a baby boy.
Baby boy.
I have a son.
I have a son. I'm a father. I have a son.
Cheers.
I mean, it didn't really get me. Didn't touch me at all.
No.
No, I
kinda
think
didn't care.
Yeah, I
kinda
did.
didn't care.
Well, I think this season, even last season, he started pulling, but Julian started pulling back on their storylines. I think because of the disaster. Of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Green
Hello.
was a
Not that I'm going to
disaster.
mention it again.
Exactly, but
won't
especially
say that
this,
word anymore.
even this year, their storylines kind
They
of
haven't
got
had a
faded.
storyline.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't think he knows what to do with them, or he's done with them, or I don't know what it is, but
I think it was a little bit of a stumble, but the best way he
Yeah.
could wrap them
Yeah.
up without.
I'm glad he did it.
Happiness.
Yes.
They had the baby.
Yeah,
the baby didn't die as I
yeah.
expected it to.
Yeah.
So.
But I think it's just because he just stopped running their storylines in any way that was
Had
interesting.
to. You
Yeah.
just diminish them so people
Try
stop
to make us
asking about
forget
them.
And I've always
Exactly,
cared
which
for
we will
Anna.
never forget,
Yeah,
frankly.
exactly. So.
Never.
Never forget.
All right, but I'm glad they wrapped that up nicely and everything like that. But the one that I like more is the Mosley Baxter,
That was
Oh,
fantastic.
yeah.
because
a
I
house
thought
now.
and I thought Mosley had such a great series. This particular year he had a great season.
Just the other day, I saw, because they're rerunning in the U.S. the last season, and I saw the scene where Mosley was literally digging ditches.
And,
he was doing the
putting tar on
asphalting,
the road. Yeah, it
asphalt
was
down,
terrific.
yep.
and had fallen out so far from the
he
house.
lost his job at the Crawleys or
Exactly.
Matthew's house. Yeah, and
He
it
was
was terrific.
so desperate and just not knowing
Yeah.
what to be or who to be or anything. And he was like the town joke at that point.
He
He
was,
was.
In his own mind, yeah.
He
was
in
just
his
desperate.
mind, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And so to see him go through, as you say, through the series and have this resurgence of him discovering and celebrating his intellect and his opportunities and
helping Daisy with her,
Yeah.
and then getting the job and the opportunity to teach the kids, and that fiasco, it started out as a fiasco, and then he was authentic with them, and he talked about being a servant, what it's like being in the service industry. And I just again, the failure in my mind of the Anna Bates
story.
storyline was picked up really with
Really
the
well with
Mosley
Mosley.
story,
I
because
totally agree.
I think that to me was really the conscience and heart of the piece, because you take this hapless guy for a lot of the series, he was comic relief.
He was comic relief, and suddenly he's this learned man who deserves a chance. And you see the lost dreams and the idea that you think there's nothing else for you, and suddenly there's a whole new life opening up to you. So
even when he was saying things like, I missed my opportunities, but there's no reason why she has to. I mean, those kinds of things. And then he gets that opportunity. And I thought, well, there you go.
it's never over until it's over.
Yeah,
guys.
and thankfully, Julian was able to keep
Incorporate
that
it.
part of a storyline going, since we had lost it with Anna Bates in some regard. So I just appreciated that so much and it wasn't overplayed at all. It was she offered him you got a cottage, and you can teach, and
then you can come up on the weekends and serve some people if you want to.
And there's even that possibility of something with Mrs. Baxter, because they never really they didn't stoke that very a lot, but they just kept it going.
Yeah.
He says, I hope we won't lose touch, and she says, we won't lose touch because
you got your own house now.
Yeah. Hello.
Again, the Edwardian version of that. Yes. Whatever do you mean? So, teach me.
Oh, they knew.
John goes there.
Right.
We got to finish this bottle. I won't say.
I'm done.
You guys are driving. Yeah.
Oh, right. You have things to do. I don't have anything to do.
That's right. 10 minutes. Okay. So, all right. But that, unless there's anything more about this episode, I just loved the grandeur of it all. I thought, for me.
Wait. The episode?
Yeah,
are we done?
Yeah.
Hold. Okay,
we
have to talk about Sprat and Denker.
Oh,
Denker.
We didn't talk about Sprat and Denker.
Okay.
And nail lacquer.
The best thing ever.
It's called
she
nude.
Yeah.
She's
That's not going to strengthen your argument.
Exactly. Yeah.
And her
was
shady
fun.
plan that still didn't work.
Yeah, of
and
course.
Violet's still ahead of them all the time.
Yeah.
Of course.
And Tammy, I was going, why does she keep Denker around? Tammy goes, that's just for amusement.
She is amused. Exactly.
It is. She's a bit of a toy, honestly.
And when she had the magazine open to the spot, what's a surprise?
Oh,
And
look,
it's the right
open to the exact page.
Hilarious.
I love the moment with Sprat when he's meeting with Edith and she says, we're going to expand your colony.
Yeah.
And I especially love, and he goes, well, I have many things to say about combining
comfort and
elegance or something like that.
Yes.
What? Yeah, and he just folds his fingers.
And Violet's like, now I'm going to go to him for fashion advice.
Yeah.
It's so great.
I
delight in Sprat's delightfulness because when he's writing and he's like so delighted to be doing it, it's great. I'm like, where did you find out? Like, how did you learn, brother? Like, you got fashion tips
that's
and love tips. Like, where did that come from?
Leading his double life.
Leading a double life.
Oh my God.
It was lovely.
Yeah. So,
silly
thank you for
and
reminding
funny.
me about that. Yeah, I forgot that. That was nice. But Denker just drives me nuts because I just want.
I said she needs to get a hobby.
Yeah, something.
Yeah,
She just has far too much time on her hands to come up with all these bad things.
Just a couple things that I see in my notes that we didn't quite talk about was the moment with Tom and Henry making flyers, I assume, for their
with the kids. Yeah.
and the kids saying, I'm working, don't stop me. And then the other moment with the children as they were saying goodbye to Barrow, and he says, be good, and she says, no we won't.
The kids were adorable.
And again, referring back to some of our comments, the transformation of Thomas from being the evil butler to essentially Mary Poppins now.
Yeah.
That he is.
Yeah.
And,
he's their nanny.
Right. So he's now he's going to be not only the butler, but he has a special relationship with them. And
like Carson had a special relationship with Mary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And nice. I also love that Edith is sending Marigold to school. And it was like a whole deal.
And that, they had a very short little moment with Lady Pelham.
Yep.
And she was playing with Marigold at the reception or whatever, and they're just wisping by her.
Oh yeah, I missed it the first time, and I saw it the second time.
You got to see Grandma playing with the grandchild, so that was nice. That was a good moment.
They did everything.
Yeah, they did.
They wrapped it all up.
The moment with Lord Grantham and Carson.
Yeah,
talking about, and they've been using this clip in the trailer for the season, saying Downton will be a very different place without you. And then Carson saying, "No one could pray for a good fortune, pray more for your good fortune than I, and we are grateful."
Mm-hmm.
But that's like the commitment of your entire life to those people in a way that just so foreign to us now.
But that was very weighty
in a certain way,
because he has devoted his life, and that's what service is. But everything was about.
He feels like he's not who he is when he can't serve.
But in the same way, Lord Grantham has offered his life in the duty of managing the estate, and then what did you say?
The duty of his title.
Of his title, and there's that whole. When you are the lord of the manor, it's not just about having employees. You owe them a life in a certain way.
And it's also it's paralleled when Tom says a man is what he does.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
Even if you don't have the title.
Absolutely.
That's true.
In the send-off with Edith tossing her bouquet.
Guess who called it? Branson's new boo.
All right. And Mr. Henry 84 on YouTube said, I would like to see Tom and editor Laura end up together.
Yep.
We
Boom!
said it. Yes,
You get
we
a love,
did.
and they get a love.
When they were racing at the racetrack.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
saw
yeah,
the
yeah.
love bud.
Another prediction that came true was Pepsi Leva said, Tom starting a business.
Yep.
Smart.
So he does. I think I got all of those. I have a million shout outs. Can
Well,
we do
before we do the shout outs, I want to talk
do
about.
them yet.
All right, no, let's do them now, and then we'll get to the series.
Yeah. Okay, so Caroline in London, thank you. Mwah.
Thank you.
Yes, Caroline.
Eden Maddox.
Oh, Eden. We hope you're doing better. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way. Bounce
Yeah.
back soon, be right as rain,
Bounce
fit as a
back.
fiddle.
Fit as a fiddle, exactly. Nico Dove, Eric Tull, Anna Bolly Drake, my pal Anna in Ireland, Elizabeth Friesch, Kathy Raisler, Alex, Imogen, who we talked about before, our YouTube buddies, Nico Dove, 1181, Gator 555, Catherine Smith,
Yes.
Dignature 123, Downstairs Abby, Silvana Dill, Crazy Chris, JCJ, Miss Lost Nikita, Toyon 95, Mari Mitchell, Mr. Henry 84, Reg Love Core, Matt Lau, 63 Island Girl, Aurelia Ansa, Sam Smith, 11 JG 27 Rich, Tyler Hanasak, Ricky Ra, and Ian Armstrong. So many of you have been with us from the very beginning, and we so appreciate it. There are many others that I didn't mention, but they're in our hearts. And because I talk about them to these guys so much, I'm the one who really checks out all our social media, and we're so grateful for you guys. Do we want to talk about Call the Midwife?
Not yet. We don't want to talk about this particular thing. 'Cause
All
what I want,
right.
just real quick,
Okay.
since this is the finale,
John's the boss.
I want to talk about some favorite moments that you. Because here's the thing, I think this has been an outstanding show for many reasons, and it's obviously we've had our issues with it, but that's with every show.
Yeah.
But by and large, it's been a terrific episode. I mean, a series entirely.
Yeah.
Not just, and we
Even
don't
in
mean
the
just this
complaint.
season.
No,
we
no, I'm
mean the
talking about
entire
overall.
one to
It's
six.
been a great show,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
to take us to a place and a time that we don't necessarily think of or revisit often,
No.
and to immerse us so well. And I just was overwhelmed with how extensive that immersion is, and it was terrific. I mean, it really sent us to another time and another place.
There were so many areas that the level of excellence was raised to an incredibly high level. Costumes and writing and acting.
And keeping all those
Brilliant.
storylines. I mean, he did a fabulous job of keeping multiple storylines going and going, and always
All
juggling
the
and stuff like
time.
that. And I have to say, for instance, just Sibby's death, I think, was one of the most dramatic,
Yep.
one of the saddest things I've
Saddest.
ever seen on
In
TV,
TV.
in
Difficult
film,
Absolutely.
anywhere.
Ever. Yeah.
Completely
And
agree.
to this day, I still think about that, and I start tearing up just thinking about it. And I thought,
I thought you were a callous bastard,
I am,
John.
but that got me. And to have that hold up over over the years is incredible. It's a testament to not only the writing but the performing, everything, because that still is just.
And it's the two worlds that collided in that moment. Like Tom's world being left to figure out how to function in this world, and they were changing. And the change over the course of the series has been remarkably lovely to watch.
And those overarching themes, I think, were really well carried out for the most part. And as you said, we did have some criticisms, but there was so much of it that was so good. In the BAFTA review, they talk about how the actors talk about how in the early seasons, one of them came to the U.S. and came back and said, "You are not going to believe how the Americans love this show," and it's true, and it's an insight into a world that we just don't have experience of, and it has been so beautifully portrayed and really laid out for us with such attention to detail that I, for one, appreciate so much because. It's those moments that there's a misstep that kind of takes you out of it, and so often within Downton Abbey, you're just completely immersed, and you can kind of let go that
pretext of watching.
You just feel like you're really there, and I think it has been done so well, and that's so much of the reason why the U.S. has embraced it, and thanks to our UK viewers and buddies as well, because it's been brilliant. It's been a wonderful opportunity for us to see into a life that we wouldn't have seen in another way.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Any other?
Wholeheartedly. Well, my favorite moment is still I believe it was when Mary finally admitted that she would marry. Whatever, they were out in the snow. With
that's the one. I was just.
That
was my other one.
All my life, and I'm so not a sap. I'm so not oh my God, it's so sweet. But I'm such a sap when I saw that. The snow was coming down, and it was just fantastic. And I will forever be devastated when we saw him dead in that car crash. But I appreciate that also because a lot of it, there was so much that's jarring, like Sibby's death and watching Matthew being bloody on the side of the road and all of that was so jarring. But at the same time, there's very few shows. I watch a lot of TV, y'all.
Yes, she does.
It's not always great TV. But what I value most, there's only one other show that I can think of right now, might be because of the champagne, but one other show that left me wanting to know, I want to know what happens to these people, even though they're not real people. And for me, Downton Abbey was that. I still want to see in 10 years, is Edith gonna have another baby? What's the new baby gonna be like with Mary? Because it's and during that time there was so much changing and happening, and you got the Depression coming, and then World War II, and life changes so much during those times. I would be fascinated. So even though it's a fake world and I live there, but in my mind, I still want to know what happens. And so Downton being literally one of the 2 series I can think of right now that I still want to know where these people are and what
do you want to
do.
tell us what the other one is?
It's going to be really weird. You're going to be what? It's Friday Night Lights.
Oh my God!
But I'm obsessed emotionally. Nothing Friday Night Lights moved me in that way that I'm what's
happening with Coach Taylor and Tammy?
Where are they? So
anyway,
that's what I feel.
I have to say, I can't really choose a main moment. William's death with Daisy, the festooning of his bed for their wedding was so painful and so important, and and I loved that. Watching them go through the war was so
that's right
was so seeing these Matthew as the gentleman officer, and trying to figure out their roles, I think was fascinating. I loved watching the sisters and their involvement, especially Edith, and her, coming into her own has been, as a middle sister, 2 of us middle sisters, has been really lovely for us to experience. And so I just want to say that in the summation of playing Auld Lang Syne.
Oh yeah. Tammy's gonna cry.
And then with Mrs. Hughes starting the singing and Mrs. Patmore coming in, and then panning through all of the relationships, and then the kisses at the end. So they did still singing Auld Lang Syne and the kisses. I loved it. I thought it was the perfect way to I'm silly,
wrap
but
it up.
Right, wasn't it?
A nice.
And then
where Courtney and John are not the sentimentalists. I make up for it many times over.
It's true. And then all that singing, and then over the shot of the snow, because I was thinking the same thing with you.
That's what it came back to me with the snow, and they were out there and they found it.
That was the exact same. That was my second one.
Yeah. And just because you brought up the war, I have to say, for me also, when Barrow was, and he wants to get his hand shot or whatever, and that was just because All Quiet on the Western Front, and how horrible, World War I, what the hell? But being in those trenches and that was very difficult, and
it was
fascinating, and all kinds of feelings. I don't even know how to get out of my feelings about how he did that.
and the repercussions of all that, and how what an amazing ride. I mean, we started off with the sinking of the Titanic, and how that affected this. We didn't even talk about Patrick, the imposter. So many things have happened, and which is sort of funny thing for me to say if any of you have seen the BAFTA special. So many things have happened, and they should make a documentary. And then ending with on the verge of this new world and what's going to come
and the cusp
next.
of the Depression.
Yeah,
So
the Depression.
How does that change?
Yeah.
Next Great War.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah. Well, there we go. All right.
I'm sure we've forgotten things.
Oh well, but we don't have we don't have the studio
have
time.
all
We got
day to
other
talk
things do.
about it.
Yeah, so we gotta go. We can,
So we're talking about we're going to do Call the Midwife, the three of us, right?
yes,
the plan.
we'll
We are
figure
going
that
to
out.
do
So those
it.
of you who are interested in that show or interested
it
in
out.
Strong-armed Courtney into it.
Yeah.
They did, and I spent my whole holiday watching it get caught up, and I wasn't mad about it at all.
So keep an eye on Twitter,
we'll let you know.
the two of ours Twitter,
Yes.
and also the AfterBuzz Twitter, and we'll post it on our YouTube. Comments when we're going to start doing it. They just started the season on Christmas Day, so
we're already behind.
We're behind already, but
We'll get
catch up
caught
with
up.
us. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
Yes,
you.
it's been a pleasure to watch the show. I think that's only been topped by sitting with you two and watching you guys.
Oh, John, you get love, you get love.
And you get love, John, and you get love.
And hearing the thoughts and theories of our listeners and viewers out
I was
there,
saying
'cause
to
that
you
is
earlier,
just a joy.
Yeah, the community that has been created through the show has just made me so happy, you guys.
Agree.
Here's to you.
Here's to you. So happy New Year to you all. Happy Downton Abbey. May we all have,
Happy,
love and happiness.
healthy, safe, wonderful 2016.
And hope to see
Yeah.
you keep the conversation going with
What you're gonna
Call the
find?
Midwife.
You can find Courtney at.
Stuart Starlet on Twitter and Instagram.
I'm at Tamara Berg.
Still crying.
On Twitter, and also my website is tamaracentral.com. If you want to know how to saber a champagne bottle, you can find it there.
Yeah. You can only find me here. Then you won't find me anymore. So maybe you'll find me at Call the Midwife.
I call the midwife.
Thanks, you guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
Downton. It's been amazing.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
later.
Glass of Chompers.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.